Hello everyone and welcome to KOCreationscards. Today I'll be using the Little Twinkle bundle and the Little Twinkle Designer Series paper. This can be found on page 83 of the Annual Catalogue. What we'll be doing today is creating a little light box. You can see here the little holes that let the light out, and I've got one side on the back that's solid with some glimmer paper, and a star is born. Inside I've also lined it with glimmer paper and silver paper. Now I'm going to change that today when we create this. The back on the outside here is going to be glimmer paper and the rest is going to be silver paper, just to add a little bit more reflection. I've got a little candle light here, and I've added a little magnet so we can just pop it on the bottom and it doesn't wobble around. Now I'm going to show you what we're going to be using today. Stamp set, we'll be using this. We'll be using the punch, and we'll be using the Designer Series paper. The paper we'll be using today is this lovely sheet. It has stars on the reverse side, as well as a piece of the stripy sheet which has a lovely petal pink on the back. Now I've made up a couple of templates for you to have a look at, with the measurements written on them. Now hopefully you can see this is a 12 by 12 here. And each quarter is 4 by 4 inches. You can see the little crosses here. These are the cut lines and where I've mitered the corners as well. Now I'll give you the measurements of that. Being a 12 by 12, we've scored down here at 4, turned, scored at 4 inches, that is, which is 10.2 centimeters. Turned, scored at 4, 10.2 centimeters until we've got a grid. Then I've gone along and just cut in to the center square, and then mitered the corner, and then mitered the outside corner to the center line here, or well, the center square. I've turned it so each corner is going from the bottom up. Turn, cut from the bottom up. Now for our lid, this is a piece of 6 by 6, so 6 inches by 6 inches, which is 15.25 centimeters by 15.25 centimeters. Now there's two lots of score lines here. The first one is at 15/16, so it's not quite 1 inch, and that is all the way around. So that's all the way around. And then the second one, which is just in here, is 1 centimeter, not quite 1 centimeter. Yep, on that line there. Can you see that? So that's 3/8. I'll write that on there, which is 1 centimeter. That's to fold in and make your lid quite sturdy. Now the center square for this piece has to be a little bit larger to fit over the top. So the center square is 4 1/8 inches by 4 1/8 inches, which is 10.5 centimeters by 10.5 centimeters. Okay. Now moving on to the actual DSP for this. Now all the measurements will be on my blog. Now I've pre-scored, but before we start cutting, I want to go through the other items that we will need today. You will need a pencil. You will need spritzing tool. You will need glimmer paper, as well as Night of Navy paper. You will need Night of Navy ink. You will need some gingham Night of Navy ribbon. You will need silver paper, silver foil paper. Now you will need 6 pieces. One for the bottom, cut at 3 15/16, which is 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters. So you need 6 of these, and then you need 4 for the sides. at the same size, 3/15/16 by 3/15/16, which is 10 by 10 centimeters. You can see I've got them all marked aside. And then the top, this will go underneath the lid. Because the lid is a little bit larger, we're going 4 by 4, which is 10.2 centimeters by 10.2 centimeters. And we've got another piece of glimmer paper here, which is also cut at 3/15/16 by 3/15/16, which is again 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters, and that will be glued to the inside of the box like so. So you've got the reflection of this, and then you've got the lovely glimmer on the outside showing through here like so. Alright, now for our adhesives today, we will be using our mini glue dots, our dimensionals, a little bit of tear and tape, and also our Tombow multi-purpose liquid glue. We'll also be using some rhinestones. I'll be using a bone folder and our paper piercing tool, and also a non-issue item, but it's a little jewel picker up. So it just picks up little pieces that makes life a little bit easier for me instead of trying to pick them up with my non-existent fingernails these days. And we'll also need a spritzing tool. Alright, moving on. I have a lot of pre-cut pieces, which is awesome for you. You don't have to watch me cutting. Now I have pre-scored, but before you fold your paper, you can't see the score lines unfortunately. We need to spritz, because this paper, when it folds, it tears unfortunately. So we're going to spritz it before we fold, and we're going to fold on each score line that I've made, like so. And the spritz that I used was really light, because I don't want to make the paper, probably wasn't heavy enough in a couple of places. This is just to stop the paper from tearing and showing white through, which it did on my first box, and for that reason I used sponge daubers. That's correct. Oh, the names, they just disappear out of my head sometimes. Right, so now we've scored and burnished our edges. We're going to do the same for our lid. The only thing I haven't done is I haven't done the little 1 centimetre one on the outside. So we're just going to hold that here, and we're not going to press really heavy because again we don't want to tear the paper. And then once again I'm going to spritz before I fold. So holding it away, pop that over here. We'll do the inside one first, or the first one closest to you. Then we'll go to the next one. Now I'll show you the cutting process. Now I know you can't see these lines. Here it is here. If I pop that there for you, you'll be able to see what I'm doing. Okay, so first off, we're going to miter this corner, cut straight up to the second line. Now we're going to miter up to that line, pop that piece out, up there, and miter here, pull that out, and then we're going to chop this piece off. Okay, now we're going to turn it to the right, and we're going to do the same again. Miter, up, miter, miter, turn it back a little bit, miter this corner, and chop that piece off. We've got our box lid already. Now I'm going to swap over to larger scissors here for this specific reason that I want my lines to be as neat as possible. Now we'll start here, trying to keep our scissors and cut line as straight as possible. Now here we go up to that line, we're going to miter, and we're going to miter. Return it to the right and we do the same again. So that's what we'll end up with here. Now these fold like so to make our box. And the reason why I've left these flaps here fully is it just helps our box stay a little bit sturdier. So I'll put our templates out of the way. Now here's the little bit of a tricky part. This is where we're going to use our punch. We are going to hold this here like so. We are going to, holding this in position, so we've got it on the edge, up to the base, we're going to punch like so. Okay, see that? And now when that's put together, you won't see any marks or now I'll just sweep all my little pieces here into a bag. This is from the ones I've done earlier. I'm sure some went on the floor there too, but that's alright. Get a couple more, pop them in the bag. My daughter will love these. Alright, so that is how we make the bottom of our box. Now all we do is we get our Tombow glue and we're going to just around the outside a little bit in the center, not too much, and we're going to pop that up, line up our punching, and it will line up like so. Come on, don't be a bugger on me. Hard on me the first time. There we go, lined up. Hold it in place for a little bit, and we do that all the way around. We're done for that. Now to get rid of our little white edges here, this is where the sponge dauber comes in handy. We're just going to fill up our dauber and we're going to go along the sides here and where that white edge is, just wipe it off. And if I haven't got glue up to the edges, I can fix that so it's nice and neat a bit later. Now again at the top, we'll just get rid of our white edge. This is also handy if you forget to spritz like I did my first box and your paper tears a little bit. Okay, So that's that. Now for the fun part. Actually, I might just get my paper piecing tool for a sec. Run that along there. And a little bit along the edges. Now, I don't know whether I mentioned this will be a bit of a long video because I can't really fast forward much of it. I do apologise in advance. I don't know how long it will take, but I'm trying to keep everything as short and precise as possible. But you see what I mean about just if you've got an edge that's not quite stuck down properly, just pop your glue and run it along. Get a dry wipe, press it together, and that wipes that excess glue off at the same time. And then you've got a nice neater edge that sticks together. I don't have to do them all now though. Alright, moving on to our side here, I've got a glimmer paper one here. So we're going to pop them together 4x4 like so. This is going to be our back so that the light's not shining in every direction. It'll just be the two left. Sorry, I did that out of focus. I've just put glue on one side and I'm gluing this to the other. I've glue on everything, all my fingers. Now I'm doing this first because this takes a little bit of time to actually dry on the glimmer paper, and you need a little bit extra. So I'm not going to do it on here, I'm going to do it inside the box because I don't want to be putting it in the wrong spot and have it pop out. So just like that, and we're going to pop that in there and we're going to press it down. Like so. Now I'm going to pop this on it while I fold this and do the lid, put it together. Now remember, we've got these little flaps here, they're here for a reason, and we've already scored, so we're going to pop our little bit of glue on our little flap, our first little flap, and hold it into position, wipe that little bit of excess glue off, like so. Hold him for a couple of seconds, doesn't take long with this glue, unless you use too much like I just did. Bend that in, fold it, try and keep that edge, remembering that that's square. We only mitered these pieces here. Okay. Over to our first one here, because that piece there is still a little bit damp. So all I'm going to do, I'll try and do that so you can see, is run a little bit of glue along there. I'm going to hold that, run my fingers along, hold it for a second, and that will hold that into position. This just makes the sides of our lid on our box lid on here just a fraction stronger, so they're not quite so flimsy. That's all that can go to the back. That's fine. Now while we're still waiting for that to dry, I mentioned that we're going to have gingham ribbon. So we'll cut that to length while we're waiting. So you just wrap that around and cut where it joins. Hopefully I'll cut that straight. We're going to put a bow over the top of that. Now, I don't know if anyone's ever seen this type of bow. So basically Hold your fingers like so, apart. We need a little bit more. Pop him through like that. Pull it through. Now I'm going to pop this ribbon, if I can get hold of it, through the front, like so. See that? And then I'm going to pull that tight. And then I'm going to slip it off my fingers. Now if it's not big enough, or you need more, you just give it a tug while it's still attached, straighten it up, cut him off where you like, and you have a perfect little bow. Isn't that fantastic? I love it. It's just a simple way to create a bow. And he can go on the front of our lid. So that's the reason why we've got our gingham. Now I'll measure this for you. This is 43 centimetres. There we go. That's to go around our lid. Now this should be ready to handle by now. And you see what that gives you, a nice little glimmer here. Now we're going to move on to, these are our little bits of silver paper here. I've got a bottom which goes in here, and then I've got a top. So what we're going to do, just we don't want the light being absorbed, we want it to be reflected. Now here comes the fun part. These will go like so on the inside. And this is where this little trick that I showed you earlier comes in handy. We line it up and we touch. We slide it in, and if we need to trim a little bit off, we trim a little bit off. Fantastic. And we've got a nice reflective insert inside of our, see? Now just to double check everything, we're going to put our ribbon on. So we find our back, which is here. So this will be our front. So I'll turn that lid around because it's got that little lip. And I'll put that to the back. So everything's to the back that needs to be. Now this is where our tape comes in. I'm going to pop the tape in the centre of the lid. Here and across here, like so. And this will hold our ribbon in position. Right down there. Pardon me. So here we place our ribbon as central as possible. Line it up. Can I line it up? I'm trying to keep everything in the camera. Sorry guys. There. And now pop our lid back on. We pop another little piece of tape, pop that in the bin, a little bit of tape on top of the ribbon. Only need a small piece, about there. Central. There we go. Because it's really, really cold here at the moment, they're not sticking as well as they should to the ribbon. So I'm just going to aid them with a little bit of tape over the top of the ribbon itself, because it's awfully cold here in Tasmania at the moment, and I find my glue dots don't stick as well in the cold. Now we're just going to adhere that, pop, press, like so. And we have a nice little lid for our box. Now, here's those stars that we've cut earlier. So we've got our a piece of Whisper White cardstock. I think I forgot to mention that. Piece of Whisper White. This is where our stamp comes in. Doesn't matter how you stamp it, we just pop it on. Because it's pre-cut, you don't have to watch me cutting it. And we stamp, make sure our stamp's completely covered, like so. Press down, and you've got a lovely little stamp to cut out. Now you can see I've left a tiny little edge around that. Okay, now what we're going to do here, or what I did, was I placed this over a piece of glimmer paper, and this is where the pencil comes in, and I drew, because we don't actually have any star framelits anymore, but if you've still got yours in stock, that's wonderful. And I just drew around the outside of the star to make it a little bit bigger, and then I cut it out. So what we're going to do now is get our dimensionals. I've got the edges of some here, and I'm going to pop these up into the pointed pieces, like so. I'll need a couple more. Just chop the edge off up to where it meets the other hexagonal. And I'll need 2. 1 and 2. Now you may have remembered I said that not a lot sticks to the glimmer paper very well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pop a little bit of glue on the back of these dimensionals. A nice big dollop of it. Like so. Just like that. And then I'm going to place that roughly centre, as central as I can. And I will leave that for a moment. I'm going to put, because what I did for this, I popped dimensionals on here, like so. I'm not peeling them off or anything at the moment, so that won't hurt handling it while it's drying. Pop dimensionals around like so, and I did the same, just drew around like so. Obviously I needed to come down a little bit there. And then I cut it out. And that's how I got my stars. Now I need to punch as well the glimmer paper that I just had in my hand. I'm going to punch out a full set of stars and a moon. I'll turn that over so it goes on there. I want some more stars as well, so I'm going to just punch now. Peel the back off this, off these little dimensionals. You know, the best thing about this little box, you can put a gift in it, as long as it doesn't damage the little light that's got a magnet on the bottom. There we go. Now I'm going to put one dimensional in the centre, just one, because this doesn't really get handled, like so. I'm going to pop that roughly central in the box, like there. Now I'm going to glue a few little pieces around the box. Now this is where my little picky up tool comes in handy. So I'm going to pop a bit of glue and I'm going to pop that down. I love this little tool. These are available in most craft stores as well. So, star is born. Now, you saw that I had a magnet here. Now, you can buy magnets on a sheet like so, already pre-cut, sticky magnets. So I've stuck 3 together, sticky on the bottom. Just pop it in the centre, as central as you can. Push it down so it's flat. You turn your light on, wiggle it around, and see, it stays. And you can just pick it up, switch your light off. Find that so it sits. There we go. So we've got that part of it done. Now what we're going to do is exactly the same but around the outside with our beautiful stars. We can add a few rhinestones. There we have it. Pop that back on there. There we go. Thank you very much, as I said, for joining me today. I hope you enjoy the rest of the hop. Bye for now.